There's a thief operating right beside you at this very moment, but it doesn't steal money or jewelry. It steals something far more precious, the time of your life. And the worst part, you don't even realize you're being robbed. This thief doesn't break in from outside, but gets permission through every notification, through apps from every time you check your phone, or when you handle work randomly, and many moments when you seemingly appear most focused. It doesn't steal your time in the traditional way, but takes away your ability to experience time. And that's why, even though you're busy all day, in the end, you still feel like you haven't truly accomplished anything. This thief has a name: time steal. It operates by fragmenting your attention into tiny pieces, causing your perception of time to completely dissolve. When attention gets divided, time perception gets stolen along with it. What's the result? You're living in fragments of time instead of experiencing it fully. But when you understand how time steal operates, you can't just prevent it from taking what's yours. You can also leverage it to exploit your usage and relationship with time.
To understand why time steal works so effectively, we need to look at what science has discovered. The human brain evolved to focus on one thing at a time. That's how we survived. When our ancestors went hunting for large animals, they didn't have the luxury of multitasking. A moment of lost focus could mean death. But time steal has figured out how to exploit this weakness. Statistics show the alarming escalation of this thief, typically with devices representing modern technology, smartphones. The number increased from 96 phone checks per day in 2019 to 352 times per day in 2022, according to Assyrian research. Each check, each notification, each app switch creates what neuroscientists call attention residue, a part of the mind that remains stuck on the previous operation. There's something paradoxical about the era we're living in. We can access all of humanity's information at our fingertips, yet feel more lost than ever. We have instant entertainment, yet feel deeply bored. We have instant connection to the entire world, yet feel lonely. This is the first sign that time steal is at work.
But this isn't an accident. This is a meticulously planned heist. Tech companies have hired masters, behavioral psychologists, to design the perfect theft. They don't rob money from safes, they rob attention from your mind. Each app is designed like a professional theft tool, interrupting you just enough to keep you hooked, but not enough to allow deep focus. Here's the cruelest part. When attention gets fragmented, time perception gets stolen along with it. There's a region in the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's like our internal clock. When time steal constantly interrupts, this region cannot maintain consistent time experience. And it's heartbreaking to realize that in our effort to race against time to avoid time steal, we inadvertently create conditions for it to operate even more powerfully. While trying to optimize our lives, we've lost the very simple things our souls crave: quietude, connection, the feeling of being fully present with ourselves. The first defense strategy, and perhaps the most important, understand that you can't protect all your time, but you can protect your attention. That's how time steal infiltrates. Time manages itself, flowing at a consistent rate every day, but attention is a finite resource you can guard like treasure. Each day, you have a limited amount of focused attention. Research shows the average person only has about 4 to 6 hours of deep focus capability. Time Steal knows this and tries to scatter this precious resource. The question isn't, how do I get more time, but how do I protect my attention from being stolen? Focusing method, instead of scheduling every minute, create attention focus. Choose the 2 to 3 most important tasks each day and build protective walls around them. No multitasking, no optimization, just pure focus. Resistance against time being stolen. Looking back at earlier years, perhaps you'll realize that the happiest moments weren't when you achieved peak productivity, but during the simplest times, before Time Steal found its way in. Deep conversations with loved ones where no one checked their phone, quiet mornings with coffee without notifications, or moments of waking up naturally without alarms. This isn't nostalgia. This is evidence of the kind of time your soul truly longs to reclaim. Second strategy, build defensive barriers in the digital environment. Time Steal cannot operate without tools and access points. Most of us live in reactive mode, reacting to every notification, scrolling when bored, checking phones like a conditioned reflex. This is how we inadvertently open doors for the thief. Intentionality means you control when, how, and why you interact with digital tools, not letting them dictate your life's rhythm. This doesn't mean complete disconnection. It means building smart defenses. What's fascinating about digital defense is it doesn't require superhuman willpower at all. It just needs architectural design. For example, instead of checking email all day, like leaving doors open for Time Steal, create 3 fortified checkpoints. 9 a.m. for urgent issues, 15 minutes, 1 p.m. for follow-ups, 10 minutes, and 5 p.m. for closure, 15 minutes. Of course, the first few days will be difficult. Your hand will automatically reach for the phone, but this is when you're reprogramming your brain to resist Time Steal. The final strategy, and perhaps the most powerful, reclaiming what Time Steal has taken. Most of us have learned to treat time as fuel to consume, burning through activities mechanically. But Time Steal thrives in this environment because it can steal experience without being detected. Reclaiming stolen time means learning to experience time instead of just spending it. When you're truly present with whatever you're doing, no multitasking thoughts, no background worries, no partial attention, Time Steal cannot operate. Imagine you're staying at a homestay nestled in peaceful hillsides, a place where Time Steal can hardly reach. Early morning, you wake not because your phone buzzes with notifications, but because golden light gently filters through the window. No computer screens or noisy traffic, just thin mist, tenderly embracing endless tea hills, and birds chirping melodiously like nature's soundtrack. You sit on the wooden porch, holding a warm cup of tea, and feel time flowing slowly, second by second. No work notifications to check, nothing to optimize, just the present moment, contemplative, complete, and profound. This is time experience in its pure form. Exactly what Time Steal tries to steal from you. Of course, you don't need to go to a homestay to reclaim stolen time. You can create micro-sanctuaries right in daily life. Choose one activity: reading, drinking coffee, exercising, walking, having lunch with colleagues. Practice complete presence. This isn't meditation exercise. This is active resistance against time steal. Time steal isn't a one-time attack. It's continuous operation, and recovery must also be an ongoing process. Years of fragmented attention don't heal in just one night. But every moment you choose presence over distraction, you're reclaiming time from time steal. Understand that every moment of protected attention is a victory. Each time you choose depth over breadth, you're rebuilding neural pathways toward wholeness. Each time you catch yourself being stolen from and gently redirect attention, you're developing immunity against time steal. Throughout this journey, perhaps you've begun to realize that being targeted by time steal isn't personal failure or character weakness. It's the natural result when a biological system designed for simplicity must operate in an environment weaponized to steal attention. And this understanding that the fault isn't yours, but the system's, this realization is the first step toward complete recovery. When you've learned to defend against time steal, something wonderful happens. Time doesn't just feel different, it becomes different. Conversations become richer because attention isn't being stolen. Work becomes more fulfilling because focus isn't fragmented. Relationships deepen because presence isn't interrupted. Remember those numbers we initially mentioned? 352 phone checks per day? But when you have improvements with attention, this naturally decreases, not by forcing yourself, but because you've discovered something more valuable than what time steal offers. You don't need to be perfect at resisting time steal. You just need to be intentional. Focused attention, one moment of presence, one conscious choice to guard against theft. Each small victory is progress toward reclaiming your full relationship with time, with attention, with life itself. Remember that defeating time steal is a journey, not a destination. There will be days of strong defense, and other days when the thief finds a way to break in. This is normal. What matters isn't never being stolen from, but recognizing when time steal is happening and knowing how to stop it. Every moment of awareness is a gift you give to your future self. When you choose presence over distraction, you're not just improving the present. You're creating a future where time steal cannot operate, where time feels abundant instead of stolen, and where life has depth instead of just breadth. May you discover peaceful moments amid life's rush, where time remains untouched and every heartbeat is fully lived.